Joining me in the room podcast to talk about his next fighting opportunity, fighting for CES MMA at CES 73 on May 12th, is Brendon, the Kid Marotte. What's up, my man? Welcome back to the show, bro.
Thanks, bro. As always, thanks for having me. It's good to talk to you again, brother.
Dude, not too long ago, man. Just a little over a month, we spoke, and you were fighting at Combat Zone, basically in your backyard, man. Let's recap that fight and the experience fighting in front of Dana White.
Yeah, I mean, like we spoke that last time, coming off a couple-year layoff, nothing was better than to fight for Combat Zone. That's where I've spent 90% of my career, most comfortable with those guys. So I was hyped to do it. It was a good time. I was pumped to be back in there. I definitely showed that my hands have evolved, and as I said about the previous fight, it's only going to look better. You know, I lost a ton of weight, went down to 55, still had some weight on me. So honest to God, even though I may have made it look like quick work in there, I was, not in the greatest of shape. So, the best shape I could have been in. But we still got the job done. Second round TKO, we weathered the early storm with his takedowns. And then round two, he got desperate and he couldn't hit the takedown, so he was forced to stand. It was a great time fighting in front of Dana. That was actually, that was like an extra pump up because it was, it's cool. It's the future boss. We always want to represent. But yeah, I felt like I was almost right back to it even after a couple of years.
Well, my friend, you spoke about putting it on Dion in the second round. You dictated this fight. You said he was going to shoot. You said, working on your wrestling. If he gets you down, he's not going to keep you down. And that's basically where you happened. You forced him to stand with you, and man, he wasn't game for that opportunity, man. You just laid it on him, and your pressure was unstoppable. When did you feel the tide in that fight turning?
Yeah, like I said, going into it, I knew if he hit a takedown, he wasn't going to hold me down for long. And I knew he had maybe one or two in him because to get me down, you're going to blow your tank. And in the first round, it may have looked like he was holding me down for a while, but I had to be smart about getting up. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. People have gotten up from him being on top on their side control. They get up, he grabs a guillotine, he grabs something. So it wasn't really he's holding me down. It's I have to respect his game, and I had to be very smart in that first round about getting back up. Because the last thing you want to do is end up in a little scramble with a high end jiu-jitsu guy. You'll get caught with something. So once we got into that second round and he shot, I think I stuffed 2 or 3 takedowns in that round. I hit an Uchimata throw on him. That's when I knew that the tides turned. When you can't take me down, and my game isn't really to take people down, and I hit you with a takedown, and that's when the tides turn. And as far as the striking, that second round too is when I knew I had him because all he wanted to do was reach out to me, clinch up, and that's a sign of a guy who just doesn't want to take the shots no more. It's like the dudes in boxing; they just want to clinch up when they can't take it no more. But hats off to him, man. I've never hit someone so hard. And, like, what a game. His team, his coaches, they were staying in there the whole way. They never gave up. I could hear his corner. And that's the spirit he had. But, once I landed a few of those knees and those right hands, I knew that fight was mine. It was just a matter of tenderizing him until he couldn't take it no more.
Great, tenderizing him. That's a great word, my man. Well, when that fight finally ended and it was called off, man, what was the feeling? I know that was a sold out crowd, fighting in front of Dana and back in front of your people. What was that feeling like when they stopped that fight?
It was crazy. I haven't had that feeling in years. With the layoff and just to get back in there, and even before the win, just the walkout, it had like that excitement again, like that amateur or first couple pro fights where like you're all giddy. It's like you're going on a roller coaster. Like it was so cool to have that feeling back. Like the excitement was coming back, but to get that win when the ref pulled me off him, it was like every fighter can say it. It's the most exciting, exhilarating, addicting feeling, and it's also the biggest feeling of relief because you just got to win and you're out of there. It was the best thing, especially fighting in front of Dana. It was good to put on the show. Coming off those 2 years, knowing that I can get right back in there and compete with the top guys in New England.
Well, as far as that card, the New England Cartel, very successful in front of Dana. Great, great fights all through that card, man. As far as after the card, no announcements were made about Dana picking a fighter. But how was it to meet Dana, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, so I didn't personally meet him. I didn't go up to him or anything. I jumped on the cage, jumped on the mic, and said some words to him. But yeah, the cartel. I think we went 4-0, 5-0 that whole night. I think we had 4 or 5 fights, but I know none of us lost. A solid night for everybody, and yeah, it was cool. Like I said, didn't get a chance to really introduce myself. I made myself known and my name cleared. And this next fight, I'll just, I'll reaffirm that he made a mistake not by pulling me down. So he'll get me in there after this next one. I can guarantee that.
Well, you're right back on the horse, man. Couple of months later, May 12th, man, for CES, where I believe you made your pro debut for CES. So you're back with them. You're,
Yep.
you're dropping down to 145. You fought there before. What is the decision to drop down, from going 155 for the last few fights?
Yeah, 155. I've always spent most of my career at featherweight, 145, and the catch weight I have at 150, and then the last few fights at 155 have just been dudes dropping out or dudes not accepting fights. And we got a guy like I think my first 155 fight was Dan DeBook. He's a 145er, I'm a 145er, but hey, we're jumping at 155. So 145 is where I really belong. And the difference in between there is, yeah, it's great not to have to diet as hard at lightweight, but I'm a solid 145er. I'm not small, and I'm not trying to be a weight bully. And so that cut, it sucks a little bit more. But the way I can hit these guys at 145 compared to 155, it's a whole new ball game. So it gives me that power advantage, and definitely that speed advantage, because I'm not a 155er, but I can absolutely hang with any of them. The size doesn't really bother me.
Well, your last fight was in front of a home crowd. CES is in Massachusetts, Beverly, Massachusetts, where I'm not sure they've been at the same arena, but they have fought in the same city. How excited are you to get back in their cage and closer to home? Because usually they do fight at Twin Rivers in Rhode Island, but this is in Mass. I would imagine it's a little less ride for you. How excited are you to get back into their cage?
I'm excited, man. Guys have always been good to me every time I fought for them. I'm 3-0 with those guys, 2 finishes, 1 decision. And it's good not to have to travel to Rhode Island because I'm up here in New Hampshire. So Beverly, Mass, they've been there a few times at the North Shore Music Theater. It's probably like a 45-minute ride away. I'm in southern New Hampshire. Nothing is better than fighting close to home. It's the best. You don't have to deal with hotel rooms, nothing. You can sleep in your own bed for weigh-ins. But I'm excited to put on a show for these guys. They always have a great venue set up. They're back on UFC Fight Pass, and it's a very clean cut, good organization, and it's fun. I enjoy fighting for them.
Excellent. Well, you're taking on another beast. This guy's a bigger veteran than the last couple of fights. I mean, Dan Dubuque, a huge veteran, but this guy's fought all over the place. And he's proven, man. He's coming off a win at Combat FC 3 in New England. So he's known in New England. He's from Connecticut, Texera's gym. Regivaldo Cavallo, man. How excited are you to get into the cage with him? And what do you know about this dude other than that last fight that he won at Combat FC?
I'm excited to fight this guy. Like you said, he's proven himself. He's a veteran. But I'm going to put the word veteran and journeyman right next to each other when it comes to this guy. I think he is a gatekeeper for the bigger leagues, and I don't think he goes much further than that, but you have to beat a guy like him if you want to get into the UFC, if you want to get into any other big promotions. Because it just shows if you can't beat a guy like him who's fought guys and hung in there who are now in the UFC, you got some work to do. He's a great fighter. Like I told you last time, I study my opponents. They're pretty extensively. I don't worry about what they're doing as much, but it just their tells when they're gonna do stuff, this stuff. Like I just like to get a broad horizon of like what to do and what not to do with people. But he's very one-dimensional to me. He's got a snappy 1-2, and coming from the boxing gym that I'm at, Haverhill Downtown Boxing, we a conventional 1-2 down the middle. If you're just coming straight at, it's not going to work on me. I see it from these amateurs and high level pros that I box with, that's 1-2 is way snappier. It's way harder. But I got to respect it because he has dropped some dudes with it. But, I can respect it, but I'm not going to be there when he throws these shots. Like I said, I think he's just too one dimensional, and he doesn't like getting hit. He shows it in all of his footage. And if there's one thing I'm good at, is hitting a guy hard. I always try to get people going on the back step, get him going on the heels. So I think he'll come out strong. But once he eats a couple of my shots, he's going to be like, shit, we're in here with a dog. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go in there. We're going to touch him up. And I'm just going to tenderize him. And then once I feel like he's weak, I'm going to drop a bomb on his melon. And he's never felt one like that. He's going to go down.
Well, my man, back into camp right away you are, man. How's the second time around coming off that layoff? The cartel is burning on all cylinders. They got guys that probably going to be on the contender series. You got a couple of training partners, maybe even more. They haven't even thrown out the whole card for here. But how excited are you to be in that training camp back to back?
I'm ecstatic about it. It's great. Just coming back after. See, the thing is that after the 2-year layoff, I had to get in shape to fight.
Now the shape I'm in right now, I could fight this guy tonight, and I'm already in way better shape, double shape than I was when I fought Combat Zone not too long ago. Because it's the hard part to get into shape, but then once you're already there, you can build off of it. I'm back in full blown fight shape, where I could go 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds, striking hard at a high pace the whole time. That's what I've been known for. I don't gas and I stay on guys. And as far as the cartel, man, these guys are year round. Tyson said before, they don't do training camps. They just train 24/7 because there's always a guy in a training camp there. So it's continuous go good pace. So combined with being in shape and getting into a fight camp and the way those guys push, the way my boxing gyms push, I'm excited, man. My cardio, my endurance, my power, my speed. The guys down at Skill of Strength SOS have me firing on all cylinders. Shout out to those guys. They'll turn you into a well-oiled machine. I am ecstatic. I feel very good about this.
Excellent, man. Well, excited for you, kid, man. Coming back and mulling people over, bro, and back right on the horse. A couple of months later, if that, a month later, or actually a couple of months. But as far as this fight, man, what do we expect to see? And you have any predictions? Because you did have a prediction on the last fight that it wouldn't get out of the second round. What are you predicting in this fight? And then I'll ask you one more question, let you get out of here.
Yeah, definitely. I honest to God, and everyone who looks at his film, he looks like a hard, intense striker, and he's in your face. He's not getting past round one. I see him coming out hard, fast, like he does in all of his fights. He snaps 1-2s down the middle, tries to get aggressive, tries ripping leg kicks, but when you snap your 1-2s and I'm not there, you huck leg kicks, I'm not afraid to go shin on shin, you're going to run out of options. And like I said, his defense is not great. He's not going to improve it in 3 weeks. So it's going to end in the first round, probably towards the end. I'm going to touch him up, and he's just going to say, shit, none of my weapons are working. And once I get him nervous and thinking about getting hit, that's when he's not going to see it coming. He's going to eat a bomb right off the noggin.
Excellent, my man. Well, bro.
And lastly, on top of that, too, I know I TKO guys. I hurt dudes a lot. I hit them. I drop them. I beat them up. But this is the fight I got the feeling he's going out cold. I'm going to just walk off, knockout this guy, and it's going to be a great night. It's going to be, I'm really going to show what I can do with my striking while in shape. I'm going to show that at this age and the skill I have now and the power I have now, I have the power to just night sleepy Z's people.
Excellent, my man. Well, it'll be on Fight Pass, bro, so there'll be a lot of eyes on this show. Last thing here, bro. I mean, you didn't get the opportunity to get to the UFC in the last card. Where do you think you dropped this guy in the first round? Where do you think this puts you? I mean, the Contender Series is coming up quick. I think that starts in the end of June, maybe a little earlier, and it goes up until almost September. Do you expect to be on the Contender Series this year?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we know even without this fight, we can get on Contender Series this year.
But if I go out there and I starch this guy in round 1, early round 2, even at the latest, I prove that I belong just to get pulled to the UFC. There's a guy 2 fights ago he fought who's in the UFC now, and it took him 3 rounds just to finish him, and he got dropped a few times. So if I go in there and I starch this guy, it's only showing that I belong to going, to enter the big leagues, to get in there with the big dogs, and start working my way up. But if Contender Series is the way too, I'll start whoever they put in front of me there. Proving myself more and more until I get there. But as far as I'm concerned, I belong to be there right now. And when I get this guy, drop him, it's only going to reaffirm that way better.
Excellent, my man. Well, we know Dana's watching out for you and this card. There's a lot of potential for other fighters from the cartel to make it to the UFC, the Contender, man. So congratulations on all the success, bro. In and out of the cage, man. You're doing great things. Well spoken, very humble dude, and very, very confident, and it shows in the cage. Last thing, my friend, shout out, sponsors, social media, and then I'll let you get back to getting ready for this fight on May 12th.
As always, my team, my teammates.
New England Cartel. I got Haverhill Downtown Boxing, some sponsors last camp, and I'm hoping to get them back this camp. Pest End, those guys are absolutely phenomenal. They service all of New England for all your pest end needs. Those guys are incredible. But yeah, just my teammates, friends, family. Of course, our Lord and Savior, man. Without him, I'm nothing, and I'll carry that till the day I die.
Social media other than I have on Instagram here. I think Kid Marotte. Anything else other than that on social media?
Yeah, just Brendon Marotte on Facebook, and then you can get me on Twitter, Instagram, all Kid Marotte. You'll find me on there.
Excellent, my man. Well, we'll be seeing you on Fight Pass on May 12th, man, making your return to CES at CES 73. An all-star card. What they announced so far is a banger. I can't wait to see the complete card, man. But congratulations, Brendon, on everything, man. And we'll talk soon after this fight. And we'll be seeing you in the UFC very soon, man.
Thanks, brother. God bless, and thanks for having me on again, man.
All right, my man.